Hey y'all, and welcome back to a beautiful day. We're gonna do some gardening together today. I've got a raised bed garden that I want to share with you. We're also gonna go back in time. I've already uppotted my tomato plants, but I'm gonna go back in time and share that with you. So that'll be in today's video. I wanted to share this raised bed garden with you though that I have. I'm sitting here looking at it because several of you have said, I can't plant a big garden, what can I do? And something like this I think will be very beneficial to you. If you're new, I'm Tiffany. This is our small town life. We are a simple southern family, living our life, living our adventure, bringing you along for the ride. We recently put a mobile home out here on an acre of land that we're turning into our own 1 acre homestead, and we're sharing that all here with you on this channel. We'd love to have you subscribe and join us. I have done several raised bed gardens in the past. As a matter of fact, the last few years when we were in our rental home, that's what I did. And if you follow us over on Instagram, I actually have a highlight of my last 2 gardens, the last 2 years, so you can see how much we grew in that small space. Y'all, I grew several tomato plants, pepper plants, squash and zucchini and okra and radishes, cucumbers, all in that small space. So go check that out. I have a raised bed garden to share with you today. It was sent to me from Vingley, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'll link it all down in the description box. When they reached out and asked about sending something, it worked out because I was wanting to do something like this that I could share with y'all and show you what you can do in a small space. Audrey and I put this together a couple of days ago. It was pretty easy to put together. There were a few areas, especially when it came to sliding the individual pieces together, because you can configure them a couple of ways. You can leave them as 6 individual boxes, you can make it 1 long row, you can stack them. And when we were putting the individual boxes together, we had to work on it a little bit to figure that out, but overall it came together pretty easy and I'm excited about it. I just brought it outside. We put it together inside and it was lightweight enough for me to bring it outside. So you can make these individual boxes, and like I said, it's a beautiful day. The neighbors are over there riding their 4-wheeler. There's a lot going on outside on this beautiful day. But you can make these individual boxes. You can make it 1 long row, or you can do like we've done and stack them. That's Wyatt's snack. He's sitting over there so nice and sweet in his little bumbo seat having a snack while I work on this. It has this tray that keeps everything up off the bottom so that water can drain through here. And it has the drain plugs to let the water out. This is going to sit right outside of our sliding glass doors. We're going to make a patio area out here. We're going to make it a nice space, and I wanted this to be here so that I could easily come out and get some salad greens. That's what I'm going to plant on the top, and I think I'm going to put our strawberries on the bottom, and this will just be nice and easy to come straight out the door and get to. I also think it's going to add a lot of beauty and character to our little outside patio sitting area. You can grow so much in these raised beds, y'all. Like I was saying, I mentioned tons of things that we grew in our raised bed at the rental house. These, y'all, would be perfect for radishes. Radishes are really easy to grow in something like this. Strawberries, mixed greens, herbs. You could do so much in these. Carrots, like my mind is just a going. You could even put your tomatoes in here and stake them. You could do those micro tomatoes, and I think I will. I think I'll save an area at the end of one of these to plant one of those micro toms, because those micro toms are determinate tomato plants, meaning they have a set height and a set amount of fruit that they're going to give you. Indeterminates will keep on growing, keep on giving you fruit as long as the surroundings are favorable, the conditions are favorable, but determinate has a set height and a set amount of fruit. Those micro toms get to about 6 or 8 inches tall. They would be perfect for this. And I know that my Audrey would love coming out here and getting those tomatoes off this plant right outside the door. I'm actually going to walk up here and get some sticks that we trimmed off of that pile yesterday. If you watched that vlog, we worked on getting a lot of this stuff off of a big old pile that was in our front yard, a brush pile. I'm going to take some of this dried pine needles, some of the sticks and branches, and I'm going to put those in the bottom of those boxes. This is a great tip for raised beds, y'all. Don't feel like you have to pile it full of compost and topsoil. You can put some sticks, branches, pine straw in the bottom, and it will save you on the amount of soil that you have to use, and all of these things will break down to be beautiful compost in the end. Gotta get this out of the truck, but we are gonna use 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts just cheap topsoil to 1 part black cow compost, and this works beautifully. This stuff is my favorite, y'all. Absolutely love it. It had become a little bit hard for me to find, but Lowe's had it. Now, ideally, I would mix this in a bucket and put it in. Maybe I should do that. Kind of thinking I'm just gonna dump it right in. Mix it as I go. I rarely put on gloves. Usually I just let my hands get dirty, but today I have some new gloves, so I'm gonna use them.
If I reconfigure these planter boxes, this will be why. It's a little bit difficult to water underneath. So I don't know. I really like it like this, but I may go ahead and separate them and make it one long row. We'll just have to see. Only time will tell.
Let me share with you what I'm going to be planting in here today. So up on the top, I'm going to be planting some microgreens. These grow really fast. You can plant them even in cooler weather. Frost isn't going to be a big deal to these things. And you can cut them and they'll keep growing and they'll keep growing. It's like a gift that keeps on giving. So this is what we're going to plant in the top, leaving a little space for that micro tom that we're going to plant in here. It's not quite ready to come outside just yet. You'll get to see it. You'll get to see that cute little plant in just a little bit when we do those up potting of tomatoes. But I'm going to save a little space for that. Get these going in the top and get the strawberries going underneath. Where this is sitting, these will get plenty of sunlight as well. These are also okay to go ahead and plant now, even though we're still having some cooler nights. Everything is in the ground, and I ended up taking my gloves off. I knew I would. Wyatt has been sitting over there in his seat eating a snack. He has done so well, but he is done. He is ready for me to get him out of that seat. All of my greens are planted here and here. I may come back and put a couple here because that micro tom won't need much space, so I may put some greens right here as well. And then the strawberries are across the bottom. Not real sure about those strawberry roots, y'all. They were looking a little rough. We'll see what happens. I can always go back and replant with something else if we don't have any luck, because that happens sometimes. But I may be surprised and they may do beautifully. Now let's hop back in time and you can watch as we up pot the tomatoes. Like I said, I did that a couple days ago, but I'm going to share it with you now. We are outside taking advantage of the beautiful weather. It's beautiful for right now, but it's probably not going to stay that way. I think it's supposed to storm this afternoon. But we are going to up pot our tomatoes that we started from seeds about 2 weeks ago. I'll link the video showing when we did that, how we did that. We started several in 1 cup together, and today we're going to separate them out. Let me show you what they're looking like right now. Here's where they are right now. Now this one is something that I started later because I had accidentally knocked over this cup and I wasn't sure if they would make it, but they have. So we may go ahead and try to separate these. I may leave them a little bit longer. We'll decide. They have their first true leaves. Some have more than just the first ones. So these right here, this is what you first see when they open up. Then these are their first true leaves. So now that they've got those, we can gently separate them out and put them in their own cup. And that's what we're going to do. And let them enjoy the sunshine for a little bit before we have to take them back inside. When we started these in this cup, remember we started them just about twice as deep as the seed was wide. But when we move these over, and I'll show you, we're going to plant these up up to almost this first set of leaves, because on tomatoes, do you see all of these little pricklies right there on the stem? That can become roots. And so we're going to plant these a little bit deeper when we transfer them. And when we put them in these pots, we use some Jiffy seed starter mix. We could use that in the cups that we're going to move them to, but this is just a little bit more affordable option. We're going to mix, this is just plain old topsoil, cheap topsoil. We're going to mix 2 parts of this to 1 part of the black cow compost. This stuff right here is amazing, y'all. Amazing. I love it, and it had gotten hard to find the last couple of years, but Lowe's had this. I've got a 5-gallon bucket down here. We're going to mix 2 parts topsoil, 1 part black cow. We're going to get it dampened and moist, and then we're going to get our cups ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke a hole in the bottom of my cups this time. Didn't do that with the seeds, but we are going to do it now. That way we can stack them in these metal pans and water them from the bottom up once they get good and established. We're going to do these all the same way. We're going to start with our Bonnie Best. And you see there's only 4 in here. And I started probably 10 to 15 seeds per cup. It's not because they didn't germinate. They did. I had a kitty cat. They got a hold of some of them. So some of these cups have 4, 6, 8, 10. And some of them, you know, have less because our little kitty cat decided he wanted to eat the tops off of some of them. So very, very gently, I'm just taking these out. See all those roots that it has? We can very easily take this, make a hole right here, put it down in there. Now I want to cover this on up to about here, so let me get a little bit more soil. And there we go. It's in its new home. We just need to do this about 20 more times and we'll have all of our tomatoes ready to go. So it'll be quiet. We're lining them up in our trays now, and we're gonna start by top watering them, maybe even spraying them with a sprayer like we were, until they are good and established in these cups, and then we can pour some water down in the tray and let them absorb it from the bottom and keep on growing. From this point, once they're big and strong, they'll be ready to go out in the garden. I'm glad Audrey was excited to help because that would have been really hard to do everything one-handed. You wanted to see what was going on too, didn't you? Dirt all over my face. That's the fun of it, getting dirt all over you, right? That's part of the fun, getting messy. We came inside to get ourselves cleaned up. I'm gonna let those sit out there for about 30 minutes to an hour. I'm gonna slowly start taking them outside on days where it's nice and letting them get used to it and enjoy the sunshine. Then I'm gonna bring them in and sit them in my bathtub because that's what I've got for now. They can get good light coming through that window. I just have to be careful about keeping them turned because they're going to want to go towards the window. They're gonna want to grow towards the window. So I have to be careful about that. Maybe next year we'll have a beautiful greenhouse that we can put them in. Let them get some sunshine right now though. Then we'll bring them in, keep on taking care of them, and before long it'll be time to put them out in the garden. Don't forget, if you want to see how we got them up to this point, starting them from seeds, I'll link that video. It'll be down in the description box so that you can check it out. And if you do like I've done and you put them in those metal tins, when you're moving them, be very, Very careful because it's going to be flimsy. Maybe even double it up if you want to. Sit them on a baking sheet. We're just going to be very careful. We may actually take them out of the tins to bring them in and then sit them back down in it. Sometimes you have to make do with what you have, and that's what I want to encourage you, is to not be intimidated by, oh, I don't have a large space. I don't have grow lights. I don't have a greenhouse. If you follow our family and our journey, you know that we recently moved out here to this new land that we're turning into our homestead, and I didn't have my shelves that I needed to set up grow lights. They weren't in the house yet. They're actually still in storage. Don't have a greenhouse, anything like that. And I'm making do. And I know a lot of you too have said, I don't have a large space. That's okay. Start small. Just grow something. It's so fun and it's so rewarding to see a tiny seed become a plant, become fruit that you can eat. All right, y'all, let me get myself cleaned up. I'll get these plants in here in a little while, and I'll give you a peek of them in the bathtub once they find their way there. We love you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.